Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Marlene Cuellar.
And I'm Asana Cayetano.
And thank you for joining us this morning.
Monday morning. It's a beautiful Monday, Marlene. If nothing else, I woke up this morning and there was dewdrops. The sun is peeking out as well. We're in good shape.
It was nice and cool. I'm hoping it's going to stay this way. And Angelia Guy is going to give us that news. Good morning. How are you?
Morning, I'm good, and you?
Not too bad. We're commenting on how nice this morning is and wondering if these cool temperatures are going to stick around.
Yes, the cool nighttime temperature should continue during this week.
Okay.
As the northerly airflow continues over the area.
Okay. So tell us about what we're going to be experiencing today.
Okay, today we'll have mainly fair weather with only isolated showers or possible isolated thunderstorms offshore and over the south.
And or winds?
The winds will be from the north and northwest at 5 to 10 knots today.
All right. And or high temperatures for today?
Okay, today high temperatures will reach about 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 90 inland and 78 in the hills. The low temperatures tonight will fall to about 76 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 73 inland, and 66 in the hills.
Okay. And what about our extended forecast?
Okay, we expect mainly fair weather to continue tomorrow, and then a slight increase in moisture and showers tomorrow night. Mostly over some coastal areas and southern areas, and then a further increase on Wednesday.
All right, so we have a few rainy days ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. And keeping an eye out in the tropics, is there anything we need to be monitoring?
No, no tropical cyclone formation is expected during the next few days.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much for that update.
You're welcome.
You have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Marlene, we're about 2.5 weeks, I'd say, away from the end of the 2019 hurricane season. And knock on wood,
Yeah.
so far so good. It seems as if though we're totally in the clear this season.
Yeah. I know. I am very optimistic, but still cautious because we do have to get through to the end of the season. And we've seen storms also form outside of the season itself, but you know, that's good news for us, especially if we reflect on what Dorian did to the Bahamas and other storms that formed through the season. Once again, if we get through this season, we'll be extremely blessed, but still have to remember. I always remember someone was on set talking about hurricanes, and they said, you know, it's not if it happens, it's just when it happens, because it's not like we can escape it.
The fact that you have all of these experts and scientists whose primary job is to study the weather and be able to provide accurate forecasts still doesn't take away from what nature has in store for any particular location. Such that when a meteorologist is able to look at specific weather patterns forming in certain areas or what have you, it's not to say that while those individuals are able to say, well, this will form to become a category 1, 2, 3 or what have you, that the particular location won't be spared or what have you, because the direction, you know how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes we predict that it goes one way, totally goes the other, and that's the part of nature that you really can't get a handle on.
I always find that when there is a storm out and, you know, they have the cone of prediction, and they have a most possible likely path in the middle, and everyone is kind of stuck on the middle path when the entire cone is really where it can go. Yeah, and we see it time and time again, especially when we come under threat of a storm. So I think it is key that we keep the education going before the season, during the season. After, I think we could give it a little bit of a break, but it's always good to reinforce.
Definitely.
And, today is still a reminder to tell you that we do have a couple more weeks to go, so just hang on to those supplies a little bit longer, just in the event that we do come under the threat of a storm. Right? And it is now time for Eye Opener, a little bit of motivation this Monday. And or Eye Opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. If you feel shy or awkward in social situations, know that many others are probably feeling the same way too. While social gatherings can be very enjoyable, especially when we are surrounded by people whose company we enjoy, there are social events that we attend where we sometimes find ourselves wishing we were someplace else. Such occasions can sometimes be the cause of much anxiety and self-consciousness. We may even feel like everyone else is having a good time except for us. Yet the truth is that everyone has felt shy and awkward on occasion. One of the best ways to overcome self-consciousness or get past your feelings of shyness at social gatherings is to focus on the people around you. If you can remember that other people might also be feeling awkward or shy, you might find the thought of speaking to them less intimidating or overwhelming. The next time you attend a social gathering, invite people to join you in your zone of comfort that you have so lovingly and intentionally created. Let yourself enjoy being encircled in the warmth of their friendships.
To be quite honest with you, I'm not sure how much this eye-opener speaks to me directly today. Only because I think I've had it down to a science, right?
Ooh.
I walk into a specific room where perhaps I don't know that many people, but I've never felt self-conscious or shy. Perhaps it's my personality. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm oozing with self-confidence, but I walk into a room and I embrace the atmosphere for what it is. I think it's part of a skill that one develops over time. More so where it concerns interpersonal skills. You walk into a room, you're able to identify certain people or what is taking place, and you quickly calculate how best you fit into that scenario. At least that's my approach. Such that there are times when I do invite persons along with me, that zone of comfort as we call it. And there are times when I challenge myself to walk in as a perfect stranger and leave knowing at least 2 or 3 persons at the end of that event or the end of that gathering, that social. And so I'll be honest in saying I'm not 100% able to speak on this one today.
Can't empathize with this one. Well, it's interesting, and you talk of walking in some place alone, and I do have to talk about the gender disparity there because it's completely different when a female does it. But I think what the core of the eye-opener is getting at, which is critical. You have introverts, you have extroverts. I think what it's talking about is when you enter into a particular space that is for any reason. It could be that maybe you're heading into a place where people aren't as welcoming to you. That happens. You go to press conferences. We've heard heckling and all kinds of things against the media. So you've built that
there's a particular there's an approach
no, I
in
know.
dealing with situations like that.
But that's one example where you can enter into what some would consider more of a hostile environment. There's social settings where perhaps you don't know anyone, and there are people who really do challenge, who are really struggling with self-confidence. And those kinds of situations can be very, very intimidating. What I like about it, I think, is the call that it makes on you. Sometimes, you know, I read one time that pretty much everyone is waiting for the other person to smile at them.
Yeah.
Like we walk around thinking no one acknowledges us, but we don't acknowledge anyone.
Yeah.
And that's what came to mind when I read this, because sometimes we may be isolating ourselves, not realizing that others are doing the same, kind of just waiting for that reach out. And you can be the one to do it. And some people, as you've said, are really good at being social butterflies. They're just kind of hop all around. And
I'm a socialite. That's why it's difficult for me to fully grasp where this one is coming
but
from.
some people aren't. And some people, it could be self-confidence. It could just be, you know, if you're more introverted, big crowds are just
Not your thing.
not your thing. You know, you could also be just kind of fluxing between introvert and extrovert. You could be great with your circle, but not so great with brand new people. So I think the key thing here is to just allow yourself to be open to maybe making that first step, and also allowing yourself to be open to challenge yourself in new social settings.
Marlene, when you are faced with a situation where you feel either nervous, shy, or tense for not knowing the persons around you or perhaps what can happen next, I think what is perhaps the appropriate measure for one to take in that scenario is to just step back a bit, assess everything, and as I mentioned, see how best you can fit into that situation. You may not necessarily be the most outgoing, wanting to meet and shake hands and rub shoulders with everybody. But there probably is someone in that particular setting as well who you would find some kind of a friendship or an attachment to, per se.
You know why it's particularly hard in Belize? Because we're such a small society as well. You know, I've had conversations with people who move here, even just temporarily, and that's always a hard thing, because you have your cliques. You meet someone from primary school, from high school, from your past job, guaranteed anywhere you enter. Or even people you interact with this job. When you're like the unknown person walking and you don't know anyone, you don't know any connections, it can be a lot difficult. And so I think especially like because we're so connected with such a small population, and because naturally people tend to travel in the same social circles, so you then kind of encounter the same people everywhere you go. But it is an interesting eye-opener, and you know, I think for anybody who perhaps is challenged in embracing awkward situations and being able to see themselves as the one to reach out, this is definitely a great eye-opener for you. But we got to keep it moving now. It is a Monday morning, and it's time to catch up on the news of the past week and what we're looking forward to in the week ahead. So let's shift gears to the Eye on the News.
For quite some time, we haven't really focused on matters of crime and violence on the Eye on the News, and that's for a specific purpose. We understand that there are other matters of national importance that can be discussed in this forum. This morning, however, I want to kind of go back to discussing what is happening in Belize City. And I know that when we left on Friday, it was to the sad reality that the family of the young man, Jaswant Brooks, had retrieved his body from an area near the Burden Canal. And from what I've understood, listening and reading through the details of this very horrific incident, is that for the father, primarily he wanted to find the body so that they have closure, so that they know what has taken place, and so that they can bury the young man and find a way of moving on. Their search for him has been over a 4-day period from the time when he was reported missing last Monday, if I'm not mistaken. And Marlene, the truth is, someone had asked me about this particular case. And it wasn't that I was being cynical. It was more that working in this particular business, you know that there's a certain dynamic in Belize City where young persons don't ordinarily go missing like that.
Yeah.
Normally when someone goes missing, it's because something has happened.
Yeah.
And so you have to start thinking along those lines. It's the harsh reality, it's the truth as far as what we know today. And so when this incident was first reported, that this young man went shopping and did not return, those who knew him were the first to say, this is unlike this individual to not return or not to get back in touch with us insofar as his whereabouts or who he's around with or what have you. And so automatically the family started worrying. It's a matter of concern that your loved one doesn't report or doesn't return home from what would ordinarily be a short run. You're going to the store and coming back. What I'm getting at, Marlene, is that over the past several weeks, there seemed to have been sort of a gradual rise in crime and violence in Belize City once again. And I know that on Friday morning, we had reported of an incident where another young man had gotten shot and killed in the area of Raccoon Street. And so this weekend, there were other incidents as well. I would not know whether they're connected or related in any way. I'm simply pointing out that there seems to be a spate of crime and violence that's rearing its head once again in Belize City. And what one must take into consideration, we're nearing the Christmas season, and it is such that it's a time of year when there's a spike in activity, in criminal activity and what have you. We're still a few weeks away, but it begs the question as to what is happening, what is bubbling below the surface. And those questions are reserved for the police department. They are the ones who have personnel on the ground. They're the ones who are doing the investigations into criminal matters and what have you. This situation is tragic. You could imagine family members desperately trying to find their loved one, and then this is the end result. It's heartbreaking.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's the point that I want to start from. It's such an unfortunate ending for the family, and I think you are absolutely right. Based on previous cases that we've seen, sometimes when there's a suspicious missing case, we start to have perhaps thoughts that something sinister is going on. But it doesn't move away from the fact, quite naturally, that family members and loved ones are going to have hope. And hope that they would find their loved one alive and well. But that was clearly not the case here. And so, just has to be a very terrible weekend for them. This is one more life that is taken and one more family that is grieving. And I think we always miss understanding the amount of people who are impacted by these types of crimes. You got a mother who lost a son, father who lost a son, family members, loved ones, spouses, children, just a large web of people who have to deal with this emotional trauma. And, it is unfortunate. I think that, I haven't looked at the recent numbers to see whether there's a spike or upward trend of violent crimes. And I've always been very vocal about the fact that the way the crime is reported is not necessarily, to me personally, the right picture, because I think that incidents of crime and violence cannot just be counted as those who died. Murder is clearly very tragic, but every time there's a shooting in your area, if they miss, or and no one gets hit, I should say, or there's just a graze and it's a minor incident, as would be deemed by the police, those are still issues that kind of rattle our sense of security.
Yeah.
So when we talk about whether there's a decline or increase, we're looking at just deaths. And I think it goes beyond that. But as we do move to the end of the year, we're looking at things like, and this is perhaps a great, reminder to people, we're looking at things like burglaries that increase. We know that we've seen quite a few scary home invasions just in this year alone. So we do want to encourage people to exercise some precaution, some sense of awareness as to their own surroundings. And we do hope in this particular case that we get some answers as well, that the family gets some answers to have that closure.
I want to take an opportunity, and perhaps this is a rare occasion that I'd go a step further, simply to acknowledge the efforts of Jose Espat, because I know that the public, for whatever reason, has a strong sense of confidence in this young man to be able to help to find and look for and to just bring a certain sense of understanding, if I may, when it comes to dealing with missing persons and what have you. And I acknowledge that he has taken it on as a more of a civilian thing, because while yes, the police department does its job in terms of trying to find and trying to get to the bottom of it from a criminal investigation or a missing person standpoint, the fact that the public has a sense of confidence in Jose to be able to assist them in their search efforts and what have you, I think it's something that needs to be commended. And I'll just use that opportunity to give kudos to that effort. Speaking on crime and violence, however, there was an incident over the weekend, Marlene, where 2 persons were injured, and this happened in the vicinity of Niels Penn Road. Right? Allow me to read quickly from the police blotter. It says here that on the night of November 8th, around 7:12 p.m., police received information that 22-year-old Lemar Lam and 21-year-old Daniel Lopez, both laborers of a Bidi City address, were seen suffering from gunshot wounds to their body. The initial investigation revealed that around 7:05 p.m., Lemar Lam and Daniel Lopez were both standing on Niels Penn Road when 2 male persons approached them, one of whom fired several shots towards their direction, causing both of their injuries. And there was also another incident as well where a security officer and another individual were both injured as well. So it goes back to what I'm saying. It seems as if though something may be afoot here. Again, we're not making any connections to either of these incidents, but it's something that the department has to look at closely. I say that in the context of there having been a lull since the early part of October. Things were fairly quiet, but it seems as if though, there's a build-up of sorts once again. So that's the primary, or that's the main thing that I wanted to look at this week for the Eye on the News.
All right, so that's it for us with the Eye on the News for this morning. All right, and so with the Eye on the News out of the way, it's time for a little bit of morning tea, and this is where we try to get some conversation started, hear some of the opinions of our viewers, and just weigh in on different issues. And so this morning, actually, one of the things that we were discussing is looking at the public outrage over the University of Belize's decision to post those names, or I should say, the account numbers or the student ID numbers of people who've been delinquent in payments. And so there's been a reaction from the People's United Party. There's been a reaction from the student government. We've already heard from the UB president as well. And so it has, I think, garnered up a lot of different thoughts and opinions on the issue. And so this is your chance to weigh in. What do you think? Was it a wrong move to publish it? Was it, should this be written off? What are your thoughts on this issue?
Am I allowed to opine?
Of course. We
Okay, so
started.
before this was picked up by the various media houses, a lecturer from the University of Belize brought it to my attention. This would have been like the night before it actually made the news, right?
Yeah.
And so he pointed out to me, he says, you know what? It doesn't sit well with me that these names or these numbers will be published, simply because perhaps there's a sense of, and I may be using the word loosely, privacy that goes along with things like this. But he was also quick to point out that, okay, so perhaps there are some of those students who are behind on their payment, but they're the ones coming to school in the fancy vehicles, they're the ones with the most expensive cell phones, and what have you. So when I heard it, I was like, okay, that's interesting, because what direction do you take? I mean, when you owe money to certain institutions, they don't hesitate. They publish that in the newspaper, and everybody knows that you're a Malpago.
Yeah.
But what are the terms, or how
Yeah.
does that work in the context of a student?
I'm glad you brought that issue up, because and I do want to segment it, because what the student government is saying is that they don't approve of the publishing of the ID numbers,
Yeah.
in terms of putting it online and for everyone to see. Now, I don't know, quite honestly, how easy it is to ID the person from their student identification number. At least for me personally, I have no idea who those numbers represent. So that's one issue, because it's always been an issue that if you didn't pay up to mark, then you would lose the credits. And this is based on my understanding from the press release from student government, that was always something that had to happen. Now, I said many weeks ago, and I felt that it was worthwhile to bring up, when the Joshua Perdomo incident took place, the write-off that really just annoyed a lot of people, this is why. Because paying for education is something that really rings home for people.
Yeah.
Whether you're a young adult, whether you're a parent paying for a university education, even paying for secondary school, and sometimes primary school is too expensive for people. And so where a lot of people saw it as, oh, it's just $40,000, we have much more higher priced issues taking place. I just felt that there was a reason that resonated with people, and this is why. We saw the list of people. Now, we've had President Sankat on this show quite a few times, and he's been very open about recognizing that the university is just not in a position to sustain itself. He doesn't feel the subvention is large enough, the fees are very low, people don't pay on time, and it is actually a school. It has to run, it has to pay employees, it has to pay maintenance, you have to maintain the building, all of what it takes to run an organization. And that finance has to come from somewhere. And when you go to school, you're paying for your education. That's what it is. So it is a really touchy situation, and nobody wants to imagine, because I think what we imagine is someone who's perhaps really not able to come up with the money.
There are persons who genuinely are unable to meet the balance of their payment to the school. And like I said, there are also persons who perhaps it's not their priority to focus on that.
And I think when we look in the landscape of Belize, it's the same. We have people who really can't afford things, and then you have people who perhaps are just delinquent in making payments. And I have a feeling that they're probably all bundled up in one in this scenario or in many others. Is it a lesson in adulthood where if you don't pay, there are consequences? As a university, because we're not talking high school here, we're talking university level. Is it right to publish? I mean, you're very right. I think you pull up a newspaper, you see a whole lot of names, a whole lot of people, a whole lot of homes of people who have made payments. There's no restriction on your privacy. So, it is and I can understand why people are so divided on the issue as well.
Like I said, when I heard it for the first time, I was amazed that this is actually happening. I think it's a first, considering the fact that, if you attended high school or sixth form, these things don't get published like that. They'll call you in and say, you know what,
Yeah.
Mr. Cayetano, you're behind, or they send you a letter that says, you know what, you're behind on your payment and there's an additional fee being tacked onto it for being late or delinquent or what have you. But it's arguably the first time I've heard of
So you take
a
more issue with
publication.
the fact that it's publicized.
Well, I don't know where I stand on the matter. I was only
This is
pointing
why
out-
we're asking people for their opinion. What do you feel?
No, I'm being honest
Okay,
and
so
saying that
should they lose credits over not paying?
no, they shouldn't.
Okay.
No, they shouldn't. Because in a sense, that is denying that person the right to completion, if I may.
Yeah.
Because what if you're genuinely in a situation, Marlene, where something has happened and you cannot afford to meet the balance of payment? I say balance of payment because I'm assuming that you would have to make some kind of a down payment or a deposit in the first instance, right? Something happens where you cannot meet the remainder of it, but you're performing well academically.
Yeah.
Do you get shortchanged because I don't know? It's a very sticky situation.
Yeah. It is a tough spot.
Yeah.
And if you have been perhaps contacting, I don't believe, and this is, I don't have the facts for this, but I don't believe publishing was their first step. I don't believe that.
Perhaps they've made efforts to
Yeah.
collect on the debt otherwise, and this may be the last resort. I don't know. But it's an interesting thing.
No, and you know, it goes back to several things. You know, one, I think we need to recognize that if we want the university to perform the way it should, you know, Professor Zankat says he has no problem with a write-off, but it's just not sustainable.
It's not
him
sustainable,
writing it
yeah.
off clearly, but someone stepping in, government specifically, and paying off the debt for the students. But we do have to question who on the list just hasn't prioritized payments. We hear this from primary school level, you know, where children don't get a report card because they haven't paid a fee, or they don't get, or they're asked to go home and bring back their parents because they haven't been up to date with fees. And this is always going to be the issue. Children should be allowed an education, and they shouldn't have this disparity as to who can pay and who can't. But we don't necessarily have a 100% free system.
Yeah.
And so there are fees that are required, and there are costs that are incurred by the institutions, and those also have to be paid. Because then what happens if they don't pay? And then the professors don't get paid. And then they want to stick out because of that. There's still no school. So it's not that simple. It's a tough spot.
I think being a student in this day and age comes with serious responsibilities. You have to look at the financial responsibility that needs to be met and honored. You have to look at the responsibility of turning in good grades and what have you as well, because it's an investment you're making. Education is one of those investments where you're basically asked to put the money up front and then collect it on the back end down the road when you get a decent job, something that satisfies.
It's investment.
Yeah, something that satisfies you, and you work diligently towards recouping, so to speak, on the monies that you've put into your education.
Yeah, and you know, kudos to these young people or these persons. It could be professional adults in pursuing their education. You know, and I think that we're in a day and age where a bachelor's degree has become the equivalent of a high school degree.
Yeah.
It is a necessity in order to enter into the professional world, and it does come at a cost. What I do hope, because I really can't, I can give an opinion. I think it's a really touchy spot, but the only thing that I hope has taken place is that there's student affairs, there's counselors, and there are other entities who have more of a one-on-one contact with the students. And I do hope that there's a level of discretion between those who, quote-unquote, hard pay, or versus those who perhaps have shown that they are struggling financially to be able to meet. You know, because the intent matters. It's, you know, you go refinance something in the bank or credit union, you say, I can't make the mortgage payment. You know, they work with you sometimes to give you a more manageable payment. And so I hope that there's a level of discretion and it's not just a blanket approach to the people who are not up to date. And that's really the only place I can see, because it is a tough spot. The university needs the money, but we need these young people to get their education as well.
This has certainly been a topic of conversation in
And we'll
many circles you've heard before.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for our morning tea. Again, chime in, get the conversation started. Let us know what you think, and we'll find out what we'll chat about tomorrow morning. And we're going to get moving into our show for today. And we are starting off with a conversation about the Belize International Film Festival. And they closed yesterday, and we'll get kind of just a round out of the conversation.
Our second segment will be focused on a new animated series. It's called The Nubia Show. And so we'll be discussing what that is about in the second part of the show.
And to close off our show for today, we're going to be doing some art with Yao Ling Lee. She's going to do a charcoal portrait, and we'll just see just how much skill is required. She's a really, really engaging artist, and we're looking forward to that conversation as well. So that's what we have lined up. We're going to go ahead and take a break, but before we do, we got a birthday shout out.
Let's see who we're saying happy birthday to today, Marlene. We are saying happy birthday to Imani Fairweather.
That's right. We do
Good
hope you
friend,
have a
Imani.
great day today. That's from all of us here at Channel 5 and Open Your Eyes. We're going to go ahead and take that break now, and we will be back in a few. Stay tuned.
With over 100 years
And let's get it on, because you know you'll be entertained.
And we're back, and we're moving into our first conversation for today. And to summarize our coverage of the Belize International Film Festival, we are joined by one of the award winners. We have representatives from My Father Belize. It's a Belizean film, and they earned the most notable Belizean film along with Tequani and Duende. But we have the people behind My Father Belize. We have Ron Oscar Sierra, who's the writer-producer. We have Leon Lozano, who's the director. And we have Arlen Escarpeta, who is one of the actors. Good morning.
Good
and
morning.
welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah. So definitely feeling very proud this morning, I'm sure. Happy. Hard work paid off. Pat on the back.
Double
Or on
pat.
each other's.
Double pat.
So let's just kind of start off with the beginning of this and where the idea came from, one, to collaborate to make this film.
Well, Leon, go ahead, start it.
All right, yeah, okay. So Ron and I attended the Belize International Film Festival in 2016. Ron was here with a short film. I was here as a guest panelist. And while we were here watching a lot of the films made by Belizean filmmakers and seeing Belizean talent on the screen, we were just very inspired by that. I wanted in on that action. And so we talked about doing something together. We're cousins. And we've never worked together before, so we thought it'd be good to do something together, made with Belizean talent, with people behind the camera, in front of the camera that are Belizean. So we started working on something. Ron had a short film that he wrote, and I approached him about taking that and reworking it into a new story that would be set here.
Yeah. And hence the beginning of My Father Belize.
That's how the journey started.
All right. How long ago?
It's almost a year now.
Okay.
It's a total of a year. Over a year.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, yeah. Time flies. It's been over a year, yeah.
Yeah, we started, I think it was January of 2018 is when we started the writing process. Then we began pre-production near the end of summer, and we were shooting in October of 2018.
Yeah.
What goes into the writing process? I ask because a lot of viewers tend to look at the action as opposed to what goes into the concept and the storyline. So what was the writing process like?
Writing. Just writing, getting up in the morning and doing it.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, if you have ideas, the process shouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
Just getting it somewhat perfect in order to be able to shoot it is the next step. But actually, it's having ideas and just opening up your mind. We all dream, so let's just getting them dreams down on paper and making it happen. Yeah, that's it, man.
Do you bounce ideas off of each other in terms of?
Normally we do. Yeah, he sends me stuff, I send him stuff, and this one particular thing I just so happened to write stuck with him, and he was like, "We got to do it."
What about the storyline stood out to you?
Well, Ron, in general, has awesome ideas. So,
Did he pay you?
I was just gonna say, just because he's next to you.
he's bigger than me. He might, No, nickname I came up with him is the Fountain, because he's like a fountain of great ideas. And this is just one of many ideas that he has that I thought was an intriguing concept, and had some themes in it that I thought would. A lot of times, the best stories are the ones that many people can relate to.
Yeah.
And I felt like this was one of those, and I wanted to get in there.
Yeah.
And how did you guys stumble upon Arlen's acting talents?
Oh, that rookie?
Yeah.
No, Go ahead, Leon.
No, it's not hard to stumble upon it. He's everywhere.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, we're familiar with his work and we're fans of his work. And the cherry on top of the ice cream is that he was born here.
Yes. Yeah, Belize is home. It had been a while since I had come back home, and my grandmother is big in Belize. That's Miss Henrietta Gill, the boxing lady. So a lot of people know and love my grandmother. So for me, it was double blessing to book a film, to get to come back home to Belize, to work with Leon and Ron. It was an absolute pleasure. And it's funny, you guys talked about the writing, right? And the writing is always where everything starts. It's always on the page. But I always say the magic, it happens when you're playing with it in the messiness. You know, that we have so many moments in this film that organically just grew from the seed, which, you know, that these guys planted there. So being back here in Belize, working with such an amazing Belizean crew, and I've worked on a ton of different sets, and I can honestly say that I haven't seen the type of passion and drive that the Belizean crew brought to set every day, top to bottom. Nobody skipped a beat, nobody took a day off, and it made me, and I'm sure Ron and Leon as well, number one, not only appreciate being here, but at the same time, raise your game as well too, you know?
Yeah. What was it like for you, Arlen, to come back to Belize and replicate Belizean life?
It was special.
Yeah.
It was special. Even being grown up in the States, I'm still in a Belizean household, so I got my Milo in the cupboard.
All right, good.
Literally,
that's one check.
they'll tell you, me being here, I tried to soak up as much of Belize that I could remember from when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I went around and I got as much. I probably ate more of it than anything.
But I saw a comforter shot just now. I'm like, okay, that's good.
More than anything, it was just really special to come back and just walk back in those footsteps that gave me life. You know, yesterday afternoon I got to spend the day with my 91-year-old grandfather, who hadn't seen me for quite some time. It's been feeding me from beginning to end. So my soul is full right now.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that's perhaps one of the questions I had in looking at creating a Belizean film. And you said you had the script already, but you wanted to make it more authentically Belizean. Now, even if you get it authentically Belizean on paper, the entire production, I mean, real life is real life, and recreating it in an authentic manner can be a challenge, especially where we as the viewers know exactly how it's supposed to be. So when you go to see, this is how it really happened.
Right.
What was that process like for you?
It was kind of easy, to be honest with you. Like we're not raised here, but our homes are strictly Belizean.
100%.
Yeah, we wake up to fried jack, Johnny Kid.
Stewed beans, white rice.
Yes, fried beans, breakfast, Dutch cheese. We still get everything.
Yeah.
You know, plus our, you know, when you get scolded by your mom, it's still there. You know, it wasn't.
The colorful Creole language come out.
Exactly.
That's right.
It wasn't hard to bring it on page.
Yeah.
And so that was the easy part. Yeah. The hard part was actually when we were done filming, having to go back home.
Yeah.
We were like, we wish we could stay more.
That's right.
Now, in terms of the festival itself and your entry, what was it like looking at the works of other producers and actors against your one?
Can I take this?
Go ahead.
I thought they were amazing. I really did. I laughed, I smiled, I left inspired, and I made a lot of friends. I connected with a bunch of different filmmakers. One of the young gentlemen by the name of Lester, I forget Lester's last name, but he had an amazing film called IGF. I told him, I said, here's my information. I expect a message from you saying, I wrote this, and he wrote it, he directed it, he started it, and he produced it.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, I expect a message from you saying, I wrote this, let's come back to Belize and shoot this so I can be in this with you. I mean, I was really inspired.
Yeah.
Everybody was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Time for Eat, Mr. Roy's project was amazing. The team who did the horror film.
Everything was,
Haunted
Haunted Wife.
Oh my God, like people, like I say this every time, and we all do. Belize has talent.
Yes.
And that was just like mind blowing watching all these films produced, starred, and everything in and around Belize. It was amazing.
And I just say, just like how we started
Yeah.
in 2016, being inspired by that
Yeah.
all over again.
Yeah.
Same experience.
Yeah.
So the wheels are turning for the next production.
We're talking about a feature now.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we
That
would
immediately happened.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's asking for it. So
Yeah.
we screened the film 3 times while we were here, and plenty of people have walked up and said, "What happens next? I want more. Is there a sequel?" So you got to give the people what they want.
How do you factor in budgets and logistics and that sort of stuff?
Yeah. I'll say that I'm a director and a writer, and I'm a producer also. But my director and writer hat is a little more seasoned than the budget side of things with the producer side. So we sort of just jumped into this wanting to make it happen.
Okay.
And we had an idea of what it would cost to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it ended up costing a little bit more
Than what we thought.
than what we thought. But basically we refused to take no for an answer, and we decided to do this, so we pushed through and just found a way
Yeah.
to get it done.
Thanks to our wives for allowing.
Right.
to go a little over. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Now, you said you used a Belizean crew as well,
Yes.
so you tried to keep the entire production Belizean. What was the talent pool? I mean, I think sometimes people feel that we just don't have, whether it's the equipment or the trained persons to be able to complete the films. Is that the case?
I'm gonna say no. Belize has talent. Unfortunately for us, we were in LA, and we cast from LA with as many Belizeans as possible.
Yeah.
Arlen was a no-brainer. That was easy. And then, luckily for us, we do have a cousin, Keisha Sierra, who is an actress as well.
And she's actually, I think she's the Independence baby, if I'm not, yeah, she's the
Yeah,
Independence
yeah,
baby.
first
yeah.
baby
The
born
first
in
baby, yeah.
Independence. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit of history.
Yeah. Go ahead, Leon. Sorry.
Oh, well, with crewing up, one of the producers of this film is the Film Commissioner of Belize, Mr. Nigel Miguel. And so he gave us access to crew here to get it done. So Young Star, we worked with Young Star
Really
to
good.
get our
Yeah.
crew together.
Yeah.
We worked with Skip Weaver
Yes.
out of Placencia, and we also work with Steven Zayden.
Okay.
So
yeah.
between those three,
Yeah, you pretty much had everything.
we had everything. Yeah.
We had a great team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, where you grew up, you see the possibility for film. I mean, it's just a part of your own livelihood. The Film Commission and the Film and Media Arts Unit for Niche, they've been working so hard, and we do always say congratulations to them in having the Belize International Film Festival going for so long and still getting so many entries. And while we see a growth in the number of films coming out of Belize, it still isn't showing or true potential in what we can create. When you come and you interact with other producers, other actors, other people who've been involved, what's your message to them about being motivated to continue and maybe even venture into features?
Yeah, I would say that just in our time here this go round, even within our crew, there have been people, I've had conversations where people are saying, we were inspired when we were a part of this production,
Yeah.
and I'm writing my next project,
Yeah.
and I want to make my next film, or people that were here that screened are talking about their next projects. So my advice to anyone is to just basically to do it and take advantage of what you have access to.
Yeah.
If you know someone with a barbershop, then write something that's centered
Yeah.
around a barbershop. And that's one way to go about it. My first feature film that I did about a decade ago, the whole thing takes place in an apartment. It's basically a guy sitting on a couch. Family and friends are coming to visit him. He's attempted to take his life, and they're coming to comfort him and see what's wrong. And with each visit, there's a flashback to show what sort of brought him to that point. And the reason I wrote it that way is because I didn't have a lot of money, but I wanted to have a feature film. So I had access to an apartment. So make your movie.
I was going to say, for me, one of the things that I know inspired me growing up was being young and being in elementary school and junior high school and high school. And I was fortunate to go to a performing arts across the board where I got exposed to a lot. So what I've been telling people, start with the youth. Let them start writing and creating. I pitched an idea to a gentleman last night and I would love to come back and be a part of it. I'm sure anybody here would as well. If you had a bunch of kids in the classroom, let them all write a short story. Then let the kids vote on which short story they want to make. And then all the kids can be crew, you know, and then we can have actors and producers and directors come back here and read a reading for the kids, help them make their own film. Little things like that will live on forever and a day, and you'll spark those minds to be the future of Belize. I don't think it's always necessarily just left up to the adults. I think it's also very important to just start young and let their creative mind just go. I mean, being a kid, their imaginations are all over the place, and that's untapped talent that you don't have to wait for them to grow up to allow them to shine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I'm more so, people need to collaborate together. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't think we should worry about who's going to get what credit at a certain point, although it's very important.
Yeah.
But if this group of people are skilled at this thing and this group of people skilled at another thing, come together and make it happen. That's it.
That's
just
filmmaking.
Coming together and make it happen, because this happened with me, to him, to the next person, phone call. We all agreed on certain things, and we made it happen. From LA to Belize.
And you have the award in front of you that you won last night. We have a little clip showing of you accepting the award. Were you surprised? I mean, first of all, I gotta say that I got the scoop that Friday night was packed at the theater. I mean, people were sitting in the rows because there weren't enough seats. This is a great sign of the interest that people have in the Belizean produced films. So you saw everybody's work. You know what the competition was putting forward. How surprised were you when the time came to announce the award?
He was sweating.
I was so nervous.
Really?
I was nervous all day.
Yeah.
Literally
All
sweating.
day.
Okay, so tell me who stood out to you at the screening and you're thinking, oh man, I don't know, that's tough competition there. Who was to say?
I think definitely the animated feature, and obviously because we ended up sharing it with them. I'm a big anime fan in general because I'm a big kid, so that one really stood out to me. It's very, very strong. I think that was the one that really grabbed a hold of me mostly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because animation isn't easy.
No,
So it was like, when we knew what we were up against, I was like, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a lot of hard work in that thing.
I would say that the very same screening that you mentioned, the audience responded to everything that day. Like, in big reactions.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Talking
We're
to the
unique
screen.
moviegoers.
Right.
I would say that. Like everywhere else, you're polite, but here it's different.
You know, we all agree that was our greatest screening. It was like, it was such a great time, but it is hard to tell where you stand in there. So it's hard for me to really single out a film because all of them had such big responses. But this is, you know.
So you were sweating, and did they call you first, or did they call the Tekwani first?
They did it together,
Which
which I think is wonderful. They celebrated both of us together. And I'll say this, I don't believe there's any losers in a film festival, ever. A trophy and an award is wonderful, but the experience can't be matched by a tangible physical thing. It's the experience, it's the the sharing of energy and people and information. And like Iran said, it's a collaboration. A year from now, we come back and we might be working with the same people that we were going up against.
Yeah.
You know, that should be the goal.
Yeah.
You know, to do something, collaborate and work together.
Now, how significant is this award to you?
Well, there's a reason I was nervous.
Yeah.
We've been building it since early 2018, and there was a mission and a goal and a dream we had to be back here and to screen this film. And so my initial nervousness is how would it be received? It's been received very well so far on the festival circuit, but that's not here.
Yeah.
And what
It was
mattered,
important that you had that
it
impact
was
here.
important that that it be received well here, and it was. And you know, the award is just sort of that end of that journey of what we've experienced the week here. So for me, it's been an awesome week.
Yeah, 100%. This award, although he said this is for me what it's about.
This is for you. That's yours. This is for me.
This is going to be a timeshare award.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
A revolving award right here.
We got joint custody.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was it.
Yeah.
Having the approval of the Belizean citizens, that's what matters.
Nice.
Because it would have been nothing if we didn't get the authenticity
Yes.
right and people on board.
Can I take a quick second and just highlight some of our cast as well?
Sure.
Keisha Sierra did a phenomenal job in the film. Kirby Garcia, amazing. My favorite character in the movie personally was Kirby's character. A young gentleman by the name of Cody Tucker from Key Calker. First time acting on screen. He played my son in the movie, and he shines so bright. Roger Guinevere Smith. I was fortunate to share the screen with every single one of them. Everybody was amazing.
Yeah.
And then we had a whole host of Belizean actors and I've called them family now that got to come on board. And there's Miss Ruth. I mean, it was a blessing.
Yeah.
It really was.
It's nice.
All right. Well, we're glad that you came in to tell us that you came here to tell us your reaction to winning the award, a bit about your story. Congratulations, best of luck, and we'll look out for the feature next year. We'll leave you on that note. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break now. You said you loved animation. We're actually talking about an animated series, and it's called The Nubia Show. We'll get all the details in the second part of our show. Please stay tuned.
It's November again, and
And welcome back to the second segment of our show this morning. I'd like to say we're switching gears, but we're in the artistic flavor today. So that being said, we have with us on set some young folks who are very much into the world of animation. And so we're going to be discussing what they have titled as The Nubia Show. It's a children's animated series that they're working on. We have with us the writer, Chris Lewis. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, Belize. Good morning, world.
We also have the creator, Derek McCoy.
Yeah,
good morning.
Good morning.
And in the middle is Rihanna Serrano. She's the president of the Ecumenical Junior College, and she's also a vocalist.
Yes,
good morning, folks.
All right, good morning.
The Nubia Show. What is that about?
Well, the Nubia Show, as you rightfully said, it's an animated children's series. It's about a young Garifuna girl called Nubia. And she recently moved in with her grandparents, she and her little brother Wayo. And her grandparents, they're very traditional Garifuna, as well as Belizeans, and they have all intentions on passing on cultural practices to Nubia and Wayo. And in the midst of all this, the Nubia Show teaches children about friendship, responsibility, self-esteem, moral values.
Gender equality.
Gender equality, exactly. And so with all this, the Nubia Show is very insightful, and still with all the insight, it's delivered in a very child-friendly way.
Nice.
Right.
This just sounds so fascinating, I gotta say that much. Because two reasons, well, three. It's a children's show.
Yes.
It's animated, which people really underestimate how much work and skill that takes. But three, you're diving right in with cultural education and awareness.
Definitely.
Like you said that Nubia is a Garifuna girl, and I know that you are aiming to really use this show as a way to help to spread more awareness about the culture.
Exactly.
And I can only imagine, you know, anybody who lives with grandparents or visit with grandparents, they have like the old school traditions, right? They'll be very strict about your formal use of the language. Am I hitting the nail on the head here, Chris?
Little things.
On doing the old school forms of cooking rather than the new methodology.
Like grating coconut.
Right? How much of this have you integrated into the show? Is this where kind of the interest comes from?
Yes, actually, it presents a slight challenge to incorporate, you know, like the old fashioned, the new fashion. So you find that sometimes Nubia prefers to do things the old way, like her granny, and then sometimes she does it the new fashion way, and sometimes she fuses and use from both, you know, the old world and the new world, the older people and the younger people.
Because like the show itself, it's based in 2019, so it's like a more modern day version of like how we're living right now. Because we come from Dangrega, and like a lot of people my age, they don't know how to speak the language. So I feel like for me, it's like the most important thing, like the foundation. If you know the language, then more than likely you'll be able to keep up with the culture and the tradition.
So here's the question then. This is written and narrated in Garifuna?
Well, it was originally we thought about doing it in like Garifuna, like completely, but for the people who don't understand, it would be hard for them to tune into the show. So we're gonna do it in English, and then like words from Garifuna will be translated, so it's for English speakers. And then when we're done with the first season, we'll translate it to Spanish to Garifuna, and then be for Spanish speakers.
Nice. How was this idea born? How did this all come together?
Well, like with me, like I know myself, like I mentioned, I'm not fluent in the language, and I know I'm kind of like, I know I feel a way about that, but so I feel like my contribution to the culture would be something like this for help the generations that come after us.
Right. It's just trying to have that culture retention and also helping the younger generation with a form of ethnic identity.
Nice. Nice.
And well, you know, culture never dies, and you cannot let culture die. You know, so we cannot just be robots living without the actual foundations that we came from, and so Nubia, and then Nubia herself she's ahead of her time.
Yeah.
She's very intelligent and she learns very quickly. Then she becomes like a student teacher to the other students that year. So she's very interesting. You'll find her very intriguing, and she's not someone that she doesn't just do one thing or two things or five things. You know, and you know, so she's always, and she loves to play, and that's the thing. So she interacts everything, culture, play, everything, but she knows when and how.
So when you came up with this concept, I'm thinking perhaps your primary target audience would be children, right?
Right.
Yes.
But I would want to imagine that because it's heavily based on culture, that you would have a broader audience than just having kids watching it, because you're looking at various aspects of the Garifuna culture coming together.
Right.
Where do you see this being marketed?
She's in her cultural clothes.
Where, like what you mentioned, I was more targeting children, but like you know, when a child's watching TV, more likely the parents will be in the room as well, watching along with them. So parents will watch, children will watch, but I was thinking not just in Belize, but like they have other countries with Garifuna people like St. Vincent, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, even the United States. So like the target audience would be like maybe more than outside, you know, just the regular demographic.
So is this like Belize's Dora?
In a sense, yes.
I heard the comparison.
Speaking Spanish that have never been exposed to Spanish.
Yeah, correct.
She's a great character. It doesn't matter if she has a Spanish background, because now you learn a bit of Spanish words.
Right, exactly. Your Belizean Dora.
Oh, I love that. How hard is it to write for children?
That's the thing. Oh, sorry.
It's basically easy. You just put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
You know, because all of us were children once, and all of us always got a little child inside of us. You know, so it's just, you know, because then you know, you become the character.
Yeah.
And you tell the character what to do, and the character tells you what to do. So it's right. That's the thing with writers that the normal world wouldn't understand. The characters speak to you sometimes you're in the bathroom and you have to leave, or you got to script something quick because she's telling you.
Inspiration has hit.
She's reminding. Right. And sometimes you're writing for 2 days, you don't even know what is day or night. You don't know.
Wow.
Someone has to remind you. And, oh, yesterday was the 15th, and you're counting today the 15th. So it's things like that. But one thing with Nubia though is that she doesn't dictate too much, but she doesn't stay behind, and she leads in certain ways that she makes you become you as much as possible, but she helps to guide you. So she's a child, but she's not your normal child.
Yeah.
Fully aware.
And children need to see strong representations of themselves. You know, I know so many parents, when they watch a cartoon and it's like a little rude character, they're like, oh, I don't want my child to watch it. But when they see a child that exemplifies kind of learning lessons that are relevant, parents want them to watch it. But tell me about how you developed who you wanted Nubia to be.
Well, for me, the main aspect of the show, like with every episode, I want that there's an underlying message at the end. So like with every episode, she'll learn something new that she can carry on, and something that she could hold on to for the rest of her life. And then Nubia is like, I just wanted someone to be like what you said, an upstanding citizen within society, you know, like a positive role model. Right.
I'm a bit floored, I gotta say. So I'm catching up with my thoughts because I have to remind myself we need to have this conversation. This is such a great idea, you know, and I'm just trying to figure out how you three got together. How old are you guys?
Me, I'm 26.
And
I'm 19.
19. All right, I will answer you. But the point is, how did you guys get together and say, this is what we want to do? You're not, you weren't commissioned to do it. It isn't a school project. You're not, I mean, you just decided you wanted to do it and went ahead. And you're putting out your pilot now.
Right. Because for me, like as the creator of the show, I'm also like, I do like design work, but I wouldn't consider myself a graphic designer because it would be like an understatement. I do like the whole spectrum of design. So it was just natural that animation would come as part of that. So I just started working on that, and I had the idea. So I incorporated Chris and Rihanna.
So you call up Rihanna and say,
Right.
Rihanna, I want to do this thing, blah, blah, blah. Rihanna's like, yeah. Now, friends do that all the time. But
Right.
then do you generating ideas is one thing. Executing an idea is another, right?
Right.
So you call up Rihanna and then?
We have always been really good friends, and I come from my family, they're musicians. My dad is Super G, and so for something like that, Derek took the leap on that. Derek took the leap on that, and so I did the theme song for the Nubia show, and like we mentioned earlier, I'm the vocalist of the Nubia show soundtrack.
All right. And then Chris?
Well, we always sit down and come up with ideas and come up and do things. And so Nubia came up about a year ago, almost a year ago. And from since then, we've been working. Written already 16 episodes. So it's just to, keep on doing other things and buttering everything. Well, the head of the show is Decoy, Derek McCoy, he's the head. I'm number 2, she's number 3, so. But the soundtrack, as far as the soundtrack, and everybody loves the soundtrack, not to talk, but everybody who hears it.
Yeah. So Nubia is a singer too? Is that what's gonna happen?
Well,
she'll be anything she wants to be.
Nubia takes, believe in me, in one of the episodes, she takes her music lessons, and later on, but I won't say too much, but later on she brings out her own albums.
How do you find, are you guys funded?
Well, we have to give a special thanks to Niche because they were generous in helping us with the project as well. So like right now, I'm working with a consultant who's drafting up like a proposal because we want to reach out to businesses or people who would be willing to invest in the show itself, because it takes a lot of work. And like for me doing all the animation by myself, it's very, very tedious. So like if I had someone or maybe a few more animators who could help, that would make the process much easier.
Where do you want to see this aired in terms of finding a particular medium or market for this production?
Right now, we not come to that conclusion yet, because we could either do it just on the internet or we could do it like on cable TV, like the local television stations. I just want it to be as accessible as possible.
Yeah, and you have 16 episodes for the first season,
Yes.
drafted, and but you've completed the animation for the pilot.
Yeah, we have the pilot ready.
Yeah, wow. I can only, what has the reaction been so far? Have you shown the pilot to anybody?
Well, not yet, just in-house, but people love it.
The
like
people who
we
see
have
it.
an introduction that I sent to the producers of the show. It's like the intro for the show that will play before the episodes.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it who sees it.
And are you still, sometimes ideas change over time. You feel like you're still hitting all your markers, a strong young girl, the integration of the Garifuna culture, all of these things are being hit in your execution.
Definitely.
Yeah, you pick up a few, you pick up some of the language now?
Yeah, while I'm working on it, I have to pick up certain words,
So what you tell me now? What you can say?
I can say a lot of things, but it's the focus on the show for the most part.
Like Ida Biangi, how are you?
Because even we were thinking about like doing like animated, like a video game, and like activity books. So it would be like for the people who probably don't have access to it on the internet, maybe I could have like material,
It's good that you're integrating technology into cultural preservation, if I may, in terms of being able to carry forward but still make it as contemporary as possible. Because I think one of the challenges with our culture is that you have the old and you have the young, but it's very difficult to bridge that gap in terms of passing on knowledge and the traditional way of doing certain things. And so being able to come from your end and bring the technology to meet what those traditions are and what we've learned over time, I think that's a very, very genius way of doing it. It's flipping things on its head as opposed to having the parent teach you. You're using your own method of learning from the parent and presenting it to children.
That's what you said, like just finding the balance. You know?
Yeah, and then each other check each other,
Yeah.
check and balance. When Granny says, "Oh, you're not doing it the right way."
Yeah.
Granny, but I thought, yes, but don't rush it. Do it this way that it comes out right.
Yeah.
If you rush it, it won't come out right. But Granny, I will finish faster. No. You know, so that's where the check and balance comes in. But Nubia is for the world, so the mediums, whatever mediums, and well, we realize that there are, you know, 26 major languages in the world, so all those markets and everything we're looking into in the long end now.
Yeah.
They're down the road. Because Nubia will not just stay Belizean, she's international.
Yeah.
We can't hold her back.
How are you hoping? When are you hoping to premiere the show?
The first episode, hopefully by January.
By January.
Right.
And for now, how can people find out more?
Well, we have a website, thenobiashow.com, or on the Facebook page. And if you're like someone who's interested in learning animation or maybe like an apprenticeship, you can reach out to us, subscribe to our page.
Yeah, because you're looking for extra hands to help out
Right,
for now, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is such a great idea. We're so grateful that you came in to tell us all about it. I know, David, you said you're still looking for additional support and figuring out kind of how you're going to distribute the season itself. So we'll look forward to getting the details on that. And to the rest of your team, best of luck. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
All right. We are going to go ahead now and take a break. When we come back, we're going to stay in our art theme today as we look at charcoal portraits. Please stay tuned.
every Tuesday night at 8:30 and have a great time as this year's contestants compete for the grand prize of $10,000. There'll be lots of fabulous giveaways, and every Tuesday night you get a chance to win $100 cash. That's right, Zetro International will give away $100 cash to one lucky audience member. The fun and excitement continue with Ozzy the Clown and musical entertainment by No Fair DJs. So make it out to the Bliss every Tuesday night at 8:30 and enjoy the music show everyone's talking about. Get your tickets at Channel 5 on Coney Drive, 88 Shopping Center, and Smart Office on Albert Street. KTV Latino Season 4, it's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
KTV Latino.
And we're back, and we are starting our final segment for today. I'm joined by artist Yao Ling Lee.
Good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning.
Especially Melanie.
How are you?
Very good.
Okay, so we have a task for you today.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We are going to do a charcoal drawing.
Yes.
Of my co-host, Isani.
I might want to say it's a task for you, Melanie. Not really for me. Everyone.
Yeah, it's a task for you to teach me how to do anything artistic.
Well, everyone look at you.
All right, so we have Isani. You're volunteering as the model today.
I'm not sure when to come in because I'm being asked to remain as quiet and as straight as possible.
Well, once we start drawing, yeah, we need you to shut up and sit still.
So I've offered myself to be the model this morning.
Yeah.
I hope that I'm in, great form.
Okay.
Because I want you to represent me the proper way in your image.
Okay. That's a lot of pressure. But we volunteered Isani because he has no hair, and that makes it easier, right?
I'm so sorry.
It's just one basic shape for the head, right?
Where should we look?
This way, right? Okay. So let's just start off by talking a bit about charcoal drawings.
Yes.
Right? Are they difficult to do?
No, as I arrived early, I explained to you don't touch your face because this is vein charcoal.
Okay.
Then it's better to work with a piece of rag or towel paper. Yeah, to wipe. If your hand sweat, then it's better to wipe your hand.
Okay.
Because we're going to work with our fingers
Okay.
as an eraser, although we have an eraser already.
Okay.
Okay. And this one easy to stain your hand, so don't touch your face. It might become black. Otherwise, it's just it's like a pencil, like a graphite pen, but it's I really like it. Yeah,
Okay.
let's try. Let's try with it. Yes.
And you love doing portraits, so this is right up your alley.
Yeah, but today I think people are more interesting how it come out. I mean, your drawing then.
Well, I mean, we'll see, Sani. I make no promises, right? We have some of the images up of recent portraits that you've done as well. I know you like to find people with interesting faces and you just ask them to sit, so you draw them.
I can't say interesting. I have to say handsome or beautiful. You have to say that. Otherwise, no one going to pose for me, Melanie.
All right, so let's get started with Isani.
Okay, what I do is that you don't...
I gotta keep my things still. Well, okay.
Yeah, because the easel is not very stable. Okay, what we do. Yes, what we do,
This is double hard balance and draw. Okay, go ahead.
It's like a kung fu then. Okay, you hold your hand. I told my student recently I have an exhibition at the museum, and I told my student who takes my workshop, have a pose. You can do like this, and your hand flexible. Don't work like this. It's not good. Yes, but don't extend too hard. Just flexible. Just relax. Most important is your wrist. It's not dancing, but you just keep it flexible. Okay, so please don't move, please. Our model, dear model. Okay, so first we have to locate our subject, what we call subject.
Okay.
So usually you can see it's an oval shape, but we're going to include this part of his shoulder.
Okay.
hold the charcoal like this. Yeah, right. Okay. Not a pencil like, no. Okay. Yeah, right. And relax. Breathe, relax. Yeah, right. Yeah. So we're going to have him like almost like a triangle. You see including his shoulder like this. And please remember, this is roughly almost like a half an hour session for you and I. And at the corner behind the model, there's a
Why'd
drawing.
You give him hair?
Anyone has a wig? Okay. Sorry, it's not funny. Let's go ahead. Well, this is the head, okay? But please remember, this is just a session of half an hour. Okay. If you take a look at the drawing on the behind, that one takes 6 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So please understand, it takes time. Everything takes time to reach a level. And this is just an idea I really want to show you. And Melanie is following me right now closely.
Something like that?
Yeah, really good. Very nice.
You're lying.
Yes, I'm lying, yes. Okay. Well, I have to say something sweet, otherwise I'll never come back.
Okay, so...
All right, and I locate the nose. That's the way how I locate my model. Under the nose, there's a shadow, cut shadow here. Yeah, and his head slightly tip up, so that's the angle I like. Earlier, I asked you to don't move because that's the position and how I
Clearly,
see it.
I'm pressing too hard.
No, not at
all.
It's
darker
okay.
than yours.
Not at all. Please remember, Melanie, when you're drawing, you have to not look at me. You have to look at your model.
Okay, look at my model.
Yeah, you're not copying him.
Okay.
But you are. You have to observe him and look at him, and you see the. Yeah, that's how I tell my mother. When you are working from life, mean that your subject is in front of you. You have to look at him, and find the angle you like. So I'm locating to chin up a little bit. Yeah, I think too much. Chin. Yeah, right. That's it. Correct. So then I'm doing the centers, locating the eyes, eyebrows, and I think for if our sitter has hair, then it's easier to locate. But because it's scalp, no, I'm serious. I'm talking seriously. People go to our school, they have to study anatomy, and the scalp is pretty amazing. There's a beautiful shape. I did a sculpture, head statue of a friend. He has no hair either, and it's very difficult. I spend a lot of time trying to get the right shape because if with hair it's more abstract. We can get it easily. Yeah. People won't understand if it's correct or not. Okay. But without hair, the shape has to be really precise. So, see, I'm locating my ear right here. So if I draw, just slightly like
from
under
the nose to the ear?
To the tip of his ear. Yeah, it will be like that. But remember, I think drawing everything is a process of correcting. You see, I'm not really drawing a line and I leave it. I'm drawing many, many lines, and I'm trying to figure out. That's the way I think our model moves, but it's okay, we tolerate that. Usually, I'm very precise. When my model moves, I say, we have to fix the position and go back to the original one. Otherwise, I have to change my drawing. That's very different than working from photograph. Photograph, they never move.
What's the hardest part of the face to do?
I won't say hardest part. It's everyone's different, and the structure is different.
Yeah.
And I would say not hard, but fascinating. Fascinating, just to work with different subjects. See our model move. Now, chin down a little bit, please. Yes. Every angle counts, and they are professional models. There are people think that it's easy to just sit there and do nothing, but actually no, it's really hard. It's really hard.
Okay, I got an ear.
Yeah, I like it.
What am I doing wrong? Okay, so
that would be good if you can draw a line here to locate the center of his face, and that will connect now the center of between his eyebrow, between his eyes, and on the nose tip, and goes down in the middle of his lips, then go down to the chin. This one will be good. Yeah, very good. Right.
So you use that as like the center of the nose.
Yeah, the guidance.
Oh yeah, that looks like eyebrows there too.
Yeah, right. So
then that means his eyes are a bit off.
And we're still correcting. Okay. And the reason I use charcoal today because you see now I'm going to do this.
You're gonna shade the whole thing in?
Yeah. Okay. And now I'm going to. Okay, you can try to do like I did. Yeah, right. Just don't be very careful. Just like this.
Okay.
Pretend nobody's here, and you are shading
like
the
I'm
whole
erasing my.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
right. Good.
I did it.
Okay. Good. And then I'm using my finger, and that's one of the techniques I love to do. Our model moves slightly. Yeah. Good. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to use my tip of my finger as an eraser to draw. I will say to show you the highlight. See the forehead right here. I don't teach my advanced student this, but this is a way to go really fast. And I believe Melanie is very talented. She will be able to follow me.
I'll watch you first, and then I'll figure out my way after that. So what you did was put in kind of the shine of the forehead.
Yeah, it's a lightest light and the darkest dark.
Okay.
I'm doing it. I always tell my students, try to find the darkest star and lightest light, and then we will try to find a mid-tone. Okay? Yeah, so we don't really need an eraser for today's session. Yeah. But it takes time. Please remember, this is just a demonstration how we get to start it. Okay? Usually a drawing a size like this takes 3 hours.
Whoa,
yeah,
I'm already seeing the shape there. That's crazy. Okay, so you did his
use a thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just to do right above the
eyebrows. If I'm going to show you, yeah, right. Don't erase like that. You just go just like, for example, can you see the neck from your angle? Can you see there's a light spot here, light and shadow?
Yeah.
Okay, just use your finger like this, and done. Good.
Okay.
You see? That's perfect.
Oh.
You don't need an eraser, and it's good.
Okay.
It's very good. So let's do the second one. Try the forehead. Don't do it like this, okay?
Because that just
make sure your thumb is clean. Okay? And that's it. Oh, you see? Nice. Right. Good. And make sure you just get rid of those charcoal on your finger. Okay? That's it. And then we found a triangle, almost a triangle shape right here. Okay? And also there's something interesting when we're working with the subject as human being. You can see their reactions, and it's very, very interesting for me. Sometimes the painting or drawing just reveal, the person.
Like the fact that he does not enjoy sitting still.
I'm trying to say something to make you relax. Okay, and also the other eyes, there's a slightly light. I put my thumb, good. Put my thumb, and here to just make a little highlight here. Right, exactly, good, yeah. Okay, I might want you to shadow a little bit the nose. Okay, yours is not very visible. Just shadow it. Yeah, it was a charcoal with this direction. See what I'm doing? Like this,
up
the
and
whole
down.
mess. You're right, the whole nose like this. Good.
So I think it's safe for me to say this makes me feel like a 5-year-old on timeout. It's the longest I've had to be quiet in a while.
You can talk. You're not doing your mouth yet.
Yeah, you just try not to.
Reaction.
Right, don't change your angle. Don't move too much. Yeah. You can still say something to make us laugh.
Isani, did you do art in school? SJC had an art
wasn't
program.
the best. Yeah, I did art under the late Michelle Perdomo, quite honestly. And I realized it wasn't for me. I appreciate art, but I'm not the best drawer, painter, that sort of stuff.
Isani, you've never looked more beautiful than my drawing.
I hope you're giving me a fair representation there, Marlene.
we should listen to him because we need to keep him happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
well, please remember, Melania, just follow your what you said right now. Is that please remember the first stage, the stage like this, it's never look pretty, okay? Because it's roughly, those are the guidelines and everything, okay? And the most important is that focus and have to enjoy what we are doing. And let's go back to one of our hosts who is sitting for us. He just mentioned earlier he did took some classes long ago. Is that long ago or not long ago?
Very long ago.
Very
I don't want to
long
give
ago.
away my age, but yeah.
You look still young though. Yeah. So I think it's everyone can draw.
I hazard to see what Marlene is doing with you on that.
Well, first of all, I've always been a notoriously terrible artist. So I think that's pretty much what we're highlighting. But I'll be honest with you, I'm doing, I'm being Picasso today. That's what we're doing.
Let's get serious because our models sit there really serious for us.
I know.
Not pretend, but let's try a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I know time limited.
Yeah.
We have very few time, but let's try.
Now, but to be honest, you actually do teach people how to do this the right way. We're kind of just doing a quick demo, but you teach your students.
Yes. Right now I have a solo exhibition at the museum.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much fundamental work, portrait, figures, and it's portrait in a charcoal, mostly in charcoal. Oil and watercolor.
Yeah.
And I do offer also the workshop to the school students.
Yeah.
I think Stephanie will broadcasting some of the pictures. Yeah. This week will be the last week for the show, but it's a project with the museum, and also I get a funding I need from the niche. I send a proposal and I get what I need. So this is a project of 5 exhibition actually, 5 solo exhibitions, and we'll go to the first stop is the museum, and next stop will be December at the Banquita, Orange Walk, and also San Ignacio, Cise, and Benque, and also goes to San Pedro. Wow. And along with them, every single one goes with follow with a series of workshops for adult and also for school students. So
that's a serious tour. That's an extensive.
Yeah, I'm very serious, Melanie. You know I'm a very serious person, right?
No, you're not.
No, usually I try my best, and thanks very much to Sapna, the President Sapna, also the Mr. Verno.
Yeah.
Right, and also Ilona, she assists me also on the way. So and also many friends. I can't write very well, so I did ask assistance from a friend to write part of the proposal for me too. So I think we need to reach out.
Yeah.
We are not perfect, so we need to reach out for the people who can assist us to get what we need. It's
Definitely.
very important.
Definitely.
Yeah. And just
How are we
make things
coming along,
happen.
Marlene?
What's that?
How are we coming along?
Very good. I have to say very good. Give him some hope.
I think
Give him
I
some
will
hope.
stick with my day job here.
What I'm hearing from you is a lot of scribbling on your easel, Marlene. I hope you're doing a very good job of,
I'm focusing on your shirt. That's easier than your face.
And also one thing when I'm drawing is we squint up one of our eyes to simplify the image.
To
simplify.
Whoa, okay.
Simplify the image. Like it's like you see the color of our host. You simplify like only black and white. Okay, light and shadow. And now we have a light and shadow. You can't look at me, please.
Sorry.
Okay. So,
I remember you doing my portrait so well, though.
So, okay.
Okay.
Okay, all right, yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Okay.
You were saying that you squint your eyes
Squint
to
the eye.
really capture just the light and the
Right,
darkness.
exactly, yeah.
So
right.
from this angle, for example, there's light on his forehead.
Mostly here.
On the tip of his nose.
Exactly.
A little bit under his eyes.
Exactly.
On the top of the mouth.
Exactly, exactly.
Right.
So that's why we focus. And then after we simplify the shape, then we go to the mid-tone. It's a whole process. Serious business.
Now you don't do the whole outline. I mean, look at the detail work of, you did that on for yourself.
Yes, I look at the mirror.
That's a self-portrait.
It's a self-portrait. I look at the mirror. It's about 6 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
And some drawing might take even longer, but that one is 6 hours. And those drawings you see from the museum, those are basically 3 hours each. One session is 3 hours when people post for me. Because, just try, sometimes we need to keep our image fresh. And drawing is still okay, but if we work with oil or watercolor, we try to keep the image fresh. I mean that we don't want to spend too much time, and the best is to leave some brush stroke or some touch, and it's very important. You're laughing. What happened, Melanie?
Because you're so talented, and I'm so not.
No, I like yours. See, today at least you learned how to use charcoal properly.
Is it a study in contrast, Marlene?
I like it.
She gave you a bigger head than I did. I may have underestimated.
At least
the size of his
we call something good. No hair. We didn't draw any hair.
No hair.
So that's very correct.
I think my ears are in the correct position.
Yeah, I like it. But I think I want to say is that the composition is very good. It didn't go too high, too low, too left, too right.
Okay.
So you're talented, I have to say. Some of my students, okay, hard.
I'm an artist.
And then
Addison is a model.
And the second, today you use a charcoal, and I see it the way how you shade it. It's really nice, beautiful color. Remember, don't mix too much even the pencil when you do. Don't mix too much because it gets dirty.
Okay.
And sometimes it's good to leave those truss. Those just the first layer.
Oh, the places in between.
Right, just leave them. Sometimes just leave them. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
To cover everything.
No. It's so much fun. There's many ways to do it. And
Okay.
so much fun. Yes. Yeah. So
is this a good medium to start with? Charcoal. Let's turn around just a bit. Yeah.
Yes.
Is this a good medium for us to start with? Charcoal.
Yeah, I think for the very, very beginner, it's good to start with pencil, like a graphite pencil. Or, And charcoal is essential, I mean, for the student who really want to, learn the drawing. And
Because you have to learn the light and the shadows and the shading.
Everything is about line and shadow.
Yeah.
And drawing is everything. You can use all kind of medium, even like a color pencil to draw. Yeah. But I think it doesn't matter which one. It doesn't matter pencil, graphite pencil, or charcoal.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Slightly different, the way how they, the characteristic of each medium is different. But mostly they are the same.
Yeah.
And
so, Yao Ling, how can people learn from you how to be able to recreate their own portrait or paintings?
First of all, I want to say that it's a learning process. I've been painting this for a long time, 20, 30, 40 years. And I'm not at all, I'm still young. I'm 18, okay.
40.
All right, but I want to say it's a learning process. You need to have a passion.
Yeah.
You need to live to doing it.
Yeah.
There's no shortcut.
Yeah.
Really no shortcut, and there's no free lunch. It's all about how much you like it, how much time you want to invest.
Yeah.
And it's not that something you want to please anyone.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Just for yourself, because you live to do it and you do it. And it's really long. It's a long process, and sometimes the result is not that important. It's the process. You need to enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
It's challenging because you really want to improve. Like this time and next time we want to improve a little bit. So you figure out how you're going to do it. Whether you practice a lot and you find a method to do it, but the most important is learn with someone who has experience and knows
And
how
so
to.
your workshops, when are they going to be?
I explained earlier, it's a serial workshop along with my exhibition right now.
Yeah.
And this week will be the last week, and I have probably 3 workshops, but 2 is from the student. 1 is for the student from San Ignacio, Miss Kate from Sacred Heart, and it's a portrait, oil portrait. working with oil, but they will work with acrylic since it's difficult to get the oil for them, more expensive. And then there's another workshop for another student. If any school interested, please contact Ilona from the museums. She will schedule the workshop for you and also provide a program. I offer 4 programs actually.
Yeah.
And the most interesting is this Saturday, I'm doing a plein air workshop. I think you heard about it last time when I came, plein air, meaning outdoor painting. Yeah, and I've been working with a group of young artists also, very...
so where are you going to be if we want to see it?
We're going to gather together at the Bliss Center.
At the Bliss,
Yeah, we gather there, 9 o'clock this Saturday. If anyone want to go, just come along.
Yeah.
Bring your sketchbook, your pencil, any medium you want to work with, oil, acrylic, watercolor, pencil, and anything, or even pen.
Yeah.
Okay? And we're going to work at the harbor, Belize Harbor with the boats and the buildings. That is a very iconic Belize scenery.
Yeah.
So that's the first...
Lots of details too.
No, not really. If you squint one of your eyes, it's light and shadow. It's so interesting with the light. I hope we have a sunny day, yeah.
When I want an artistic view of someone else squint my eye a bit.
You have to decide which eye you're going to squint.
Well, thank you for the crash course. I know, as you said very clearly, the piece that you have there, your self-portrait, that took 6 hours. So
6 hours,
there's no way we could condense that kind of work in such a short time.
Yes.
But we just wanted to show just anyone can give it a try. And as much as I'm making fun of myself, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, not really.
For my very first time doing a charcoal painting.
Yes.
And just with your guidance as we were here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in. Are you ready, Sandy? Do you want to come
The big reveal?
You can move
We're
right
not
now.
finished, I'll tell you the truth. But maybe you should watch Yao Ling.
You're allowed to move right now.
That's Yao Ling starting off.
I'm more interested in seeing your one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
He's a nice person. You are a nice person.
I gave him a best shot. But there you have it. That was our crash course in charcoal painting with Yao Ling.
Thank you so much.
You can contact her through the Museum of Belize, or you can join her in the outdoor painting session this Saturday at the Place, starting at 9 a.m. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back in a few. Stay tuned.
With over 100
the show you can't afford to miss. Come to the Bliss Center every Tuesday night at 8:30 and have a great time as this year's contestants compete for the grand prize of $10,000. There'll be lots of fabulous giveaways, and every Tuesday night you get a chance to win $100 cash. That's right, Zetro International will give away $100 cash to one lucky audience member. The fun and excitement continue with Ozzy the Clown and musical entertainment by No Fair DJs. So make it out to the Bliss every Tuesday night at 8:30 and enjoy the music show everyone's talking about. Get your tickets at Channel 5 on Coney Drive, 88 Shopping Center, and Smart Office on Albert Street. KTV Latino Season 4, it's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
KTV Latino.
And we're back just to wrap up the show, and I think we can both agree that I probably won't be commissioned to do anyone's portrait after this, but I did try, and I mean, this work is so amazing and it is so detailed as well. So we do appreciate Yao Ling coming in and being a good sport and trying to give us a crash course, but just reminding us as well that it's very easy to find and develop a new hobby, and you can get trained in it as well, attend one of these workshops, or even expand on skills you already have in working with an artist. So we definitely encourage you to do so. Right?
Marlene, I want to say kudos before we leave to the guys who were on earlier doing the animation.
Yeah.
The Nubia show. It's something that I'm personally looking forward to.
Yeah.
Whenever it is actually launched, I'll definitely be in support of it.
You know, we're so glad we brought them on. It's such an amazing initiative. It's young people saying that this is a gap they identify. Children aren't learning the language. How do we teach them through a show, use animation? And also, I think the storyline of using the generation gap is bound to be an interesting one as well. So best of luck to them. If you'd like to support, you can find them on their website, thenubiashow.com, or you can find them on Facebook as well. They are looking. They're a small team of young people in Dangriga, and you can find them and figure out how you can show them support as well. And also congratulations to the representatives of the My Father Belize. We had the writer, the producer, the director, the actor. They won, or they were tied, along with Tekwani and Duende, for Belize's most notable Belize film.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them, and also congratulations to the creators of Tekwani and Duende as well. And yeah, keep it up.
There you have it.
And to keep in our artistic theme, we do have one reminder. KTV Latino, the finals, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, so remember you can get your tickets here at Channel 5 on Coney Drive, 88 Shopping Center, Central American Boulevard, or Smart's office on downtown Albert Street. And get your tickets, come on out, enjoy the show, and we'll find out who are the 3 finalists on stage tomorrow night at 8:30, right? But we got to wrap it up. Remember, if you want to contact us, send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. Drop me a line at marlene_oye@channel5belize.com. Find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OYEBelize. And remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.